Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, please email me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing inquiry line for asking about any watch you find on any Watchbox platform. If you're interested in this one, reach out to tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Okay, today we're discussing a watch that launched in 2019, part of the recent series of integrated bracelet steel sports watches, the Urban Jurgensen 141 Automatic. A reference 5241 manages to be part of that trend without necessarily copying the Gerald Genta designs that seem to dominate the direction of this particular genre. The watch is remarkably original, beautifully made, and undoubtedly worth the new retail price of about $25,000 US. Depreciation is your friend. Pre-owned watches are a miracle, and I think you're going to love what you see right here. Now, as the name suggests, stainless steel and 41 millimeters, that's the diameter. 13.2 millimeters thick. It's neither thick nor thin, but will fit underneath the cuff because of its sloped case flank. So if you want to wear it with a tight sleeve, you're good to go. It's a little bit difficult to describe how this watch wears across the wrist. I measured these intermediate links outboard because those are the distant most points from side to side, and I got a measurement of 50.5 millimeters. So that's effectively the distance lug to lug on this watch. Now, throwing it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that the timepiece has an impressive presence. Now, because the bracelet's not sized, I can't cinch it down tight, but you can get the impression of how it wears. Now, it is fairly broad. Because there is some rigidity in the bracelet, I would recommend this watch for a wrist of perhaps 15 centimeters circumference or larger. That said, you can see why I believe it will fit underneath a dress sleeve or cuff. It does not stand proud of the wrist. It's relatively flat flush, and there's even a little bit of slope to the bezel. Taking one look down the barrel, the watch is nicely rounded around the edge of my wrist with the integrated bracelet, but again, it does have a little bit of fight and a flare to it, so it's not the most straightforward watch to demonstrate or size without removing links from the bracelet. When you do remove links from the bracelet, however, you'll find that they are fixed in place by screws, no pin sleeves here. The bracelet is remarkable. Not only is it gorgeous with this handsome taper and these lovely elliptical polished intermediate links, but it truly does have a wonderful feel in the hand. It feels as solid and confidence-inspiring as anything I've ever experienced. Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, H. Moser & C. It's in that league. Really great work in terms of constructing this bracelet to look and feel its price. The clasp itself is relatively simple, and you can see it's a twin trigger system. It's not a sequential close. Any side can close first, but the twin triggers release it, so you don't have to worry about it popping open accidentally. Rolling back to the case, you can see the taper of the bracelet. It really is quite dramatic. The case itself is handsome and thankfully not derivative of Gerald Genta. Yes, it's an integrated bracelet watch, but there were others who penned integrated bracelet watches before Genta. He does not own the genre, even though he made it famous. The design features a combination of sharp creases and character lines alongside lovely compound curves, and the watch manages to blend them both in a judicious mix. It's a really good-looking watch. The bezel, which I believe is in good taste, is full polish, really pops against the satin base of the case itself. The crown is a screw down. The water resistance is 120 meters. This right here is a gray finish, charcoal gray, as Urban Jurgensen describes it. And you can see the detailing is superb. Let's move inboard from outboard, starting with the minutes and seconds track. You can see that the minute hand as well as the seconds hand have been rolled on a miniature pin so that they arc under the edge of the curved sapphire and avoid distortion. You can also see that the dial itself is a combination of a matte minutes and hours track, and then the center features a lovely wave motif guilloche. The hands are entirely of high polish, and you can see a lovely vintage motif with the exaggerated brigade form of the hour hand. The indices are lovely, faceted, high polished, and fully loomed, and this is really a nicely loomed watch. It is a true sports watch. You can also see the seconds hand is a counterweighted lancet style, and the stack of polished hand centers at the center is almost pyramidal. It's quite gorgeous, and the watch gets better the closer you get to it, which is not always the case with watch designs. Turning the watch over, this is part of the best of this watch, the movement. The movement. Its manufacturer, and it has a name. It is called the Caliber P5. I'm going to do my best to show you because it's always difficult to show the movement on a bracelet watch. Here we go. Now you're getting the best of it. Caliber P5 is an automatic winder with a 72-hour, 3-day power reserve. It features stop seconds and a quick set date. It pivots on 34 joules. It is free-sprung with a full balance bridge for shock resistance, so this was designed and built as a sports watch movement, and it beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. It does have the screw-down crown and the 120-meter power reserve. A few things to point out. One, although the anglage was started mechanically, I can see from the rounded mirrored shine and examination under a loupe that the mirrored beveling, the anglage on this watch, was finished manually, and that's the important part. Note that the rotor uses a 22-karat gold mass, not 21, not 18 karat, not tungsten. You'll find all of those cheaper masses, which are less massive and thus less efficient. You will find them on other watches. The screws are all fired blue, not chemically dyed, and the Côte de Genève are actually a Côte de Soleil. They start out on the balance bridge and then they radiate out across the bridges. You can also see that there's a very narrow radiant coat on the balance bridge itself. Everything you see looks expensive, and this is a timepiece that truly looks and feels its price. A premium alternative to something like a Nautilus or a Royal Oak, or even at this point the hard-to-obtain Moser Streamliner. This is a watch that matches them in quality. Rare? Well, you'll probably never see another. This is the Urban Jurgensen 141, reference 5241. We're back with the Urban Jurgensen ONE by Night, a true sports watch, bright and blue.